Welcome to Carter's Retro Reviews. You know, I've done this intro before, but if you find me when you're looking for Creedence Clearwater Revival, you've typed in CRR instead of CCR. But don't worry, you're in for a treat. I'm not going to do the same dance I did originally, but you know what? I'm going to repost it anyway, because I like you guys. Space Invaders is one of the biggest games in history, if not the game that started it all back in 1978. After the first 3 months of Space Invaders being released to the public, the game wasn't selling well and Taito were thinking, should I hang myself or jump? But then word of mouth made it a stupidly massive hit and the directors could put down the noose. Not today, Yasuki. Not today. It became the biggest selling video game and the highest grossing entertainment product of its time, with comparisons made to the then highest grossing film Star Wars. Also, if someone tells you the interesting tidbit that Space Invaders caused a shortage of coins in Japan, it's bullshit. Well, okay, partial bullshit. Wiki cites the coin shortage was due to a reduction in production of coins in 1978 and 1979. Why would any country slow down coin production? It doesn't make any sense.
Supposed juror, you must now decide whether or not to reverse the decision for my client Chef. I know he seems guilty, but ladies and gentlemen, this is Chewbacca. Now think about that for 1 minute. That does not make sense. Why am I talking about Chewbacca when a man's life is on the line? Why? I tell you why. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. If Chewbacca does not make sense, you must acquit.
Why would any country slow down coin production? It doesn't make sense. I spent a solid 20 to 30 minutes looking at what happened in 1978 apart from the release of this game to the public. Happy Days was prevalent on TV. Paul McCartney and Wings was prevalent on our radios.
Let's just get high and fuck some sluts. Do what we will, not what we must. Forever stuck in stupid lust. So what? Let's just get high and fuck some sluts.
And Star Wars 4, Grease, and Saturday Night Fever were major movies. But I'm not here to review a game from 1978. I'm here to review a game that was released as an import for the Sega Saturn in 1996. This version of Space Invaders gives you 4 tables. The 4 tables it gives you are ultimately the same game with a change of a background image or the addition of color to the game. So it's practically the same fucking game. So let's give this game a breakdown it never got, because I've got time, I suppose. Presentation is the epitome of average. At no point do I think it's amazing, but in the same breath, it's also not bad. Very functional and not a whole lot more. Should I choose the original table or the table with 4 colors over the top? Graphics are bland and boring, but then again, what do you expect for 1978? This has not received any kind of update or anything even remotely new to make it any more than bland. You could tell if they had any real expectation for this to be any kind of success, it would have been released in both PAL and US as well. But as previous reviews have suggested, that's not exactly a real gauge of success. It just means they thought it might have gone somewhere, and on occasion, maybe it did. Sound is bits and blips from your fun 2-bit era. It also contains some really great songs from bands like Anti-Maniacs, Autopilot Off, Beans, Gob, and My Self-Destruction. Just kidding. There's fucking nothing. But you know, there's something really eerie about the vastness of no sound apart from the blips. Like how no one can hear you scream in space unless you're watching a movie with that gaping huge plot hole. Gameplay is boring. It controls like it did in the arcades. There's only two things you can do to make this game more fun, and that's put down the controller and play something else, because it's fucking boring. Okay, so I was a little controversial by calling a classic game boring. In its time, it was an excellent game, and it defined gaming for years to come, and it set the bar. People may have seen this as missing the point because, what the hell do I expect? Well, by 1996, I want a little more than 4 tables, which have probably been done to death on every single console since their release in the late 70s, and the Saturn doesn't need a port like this. Controls are accurate if that counts for everything, and the button layout's good because, well, it's almost impossible to get 2 directions and a single button wrong. Replay value's poor. 4 tables, and I've already made mention several times that they're all the same. Would I recommend this package? No. It was 18 years between arcade release and Saturn port. You could have at least given me something. Anything. I wanted something different and more. Other classics have been given reboots and new modes and something interesting to keep me playing. This offers none of that. For what it's worth, it plays well, and so it damn well should for an 18-year-old port. If I was to review this game as the original arcade release, it couldn't possibly get a higher praise, but as a Saturn afterthought many years later, this is purely a cash cow and adds nothing to the spectrum of possibilities or interest.